Good afternoon, family. It is February 18th, 2022. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of achieving a healthy weight. If you do enjoy my videos, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon so that you'll get alerted when I go live. And if you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me live at 4 p.m. most weekdays, or outside of my live stream uh, or outside of my live streams. Consider joining our Discord. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you're interested in getting some ideas of the meals that we enjoy, we have a link to a Pinterest board that we created that shares some of our family's favorite whole food plant-based meals. Um, Today is day 475 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 200 pounds in the last 15 months. Uh, that gives me 21 more months to go on my challenge to get to my goal weight. My hope is to actually get to my goal weight before the end of 2022 so that I can maintain that weight loss through 2023. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your guys' non-scale victories, any questions or comments, or yeah, just anything. I'd love to hear from you guys. Switch over to the main page here. Um, Not a whole lot going on since yesterday. It's kind of a dull, boring existence for me, I guess. I haven't picked up a new book yet. I'm gonna have to decide on something to start reading, so I have something to talk to you guys about. I realized today, while I was trying to kind of piece together some idea of what to talk about today, that I do rely on these books that I've been reading to provide me with quite a bit of starting material, at least what to talk about, or what it spurs thoughts in my mind or gets me to think about things uh when I listen to them in the book. Uh so yeah, like I said, it's been fairly boring. Been listening to music, watching actually some television shows. It's been a little while since I've sat down and actually watched some TV shows. Carrie's checking in here saying happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too, Carrie. I hope everything's going great at home today. A busy day at home. The kids didn't have school, so Carrie has had her hands full all day long. Um the let's see, yesterday after the live stream, went home, had a new dinner that was something we had not tried before. Carrie made a recipe from the Forks Over Knives family's cookbook. It was pasta alfredo with green peas and acorn squash, but we actually used butternut squash because that's what we had on hand. And then for the noodles, Carrie used the jovial brown rice noodles, or yeah, the jovial brown rice spaghetti noodles. I really enjoyed the dinner. With our diet, whatever that recipe was, if there was any salt in the recipe, Carrie omitted that when she cooked it, and then we have the kids add salt to theirs. Um, it's definitely one of those foods that I've had many of them in the past year and a half or whatever, where it's been like, oh, if you gave it a little bit of salt, I could see where there's just that it changes the flavor. I still enjoyed it. It's definitely all new flavors to me. The the uh, butternut squash is something that Carrie has used squash in recipes in the past, but like it wasn't very common. So uh I enjoyed it. Our kids enjoyed it for the most part. I think everybody ate a good bit of theirs actually. It went over well with the whole family. So I would recommend the pasta alfredo with green peas and acorn squash from the Forks Over Knives Family's Cookbook. Uh, that's what we had for dinner last night. I am trying to think. I feel like I know I had 2 portions of dinner. I was very hungry with dinner, and I think I might have had toast later too, just when the way I have my diet set up, I kind of eat a lot of food when I eat. It's just that I don't have big eating windows or I'm not eating all day. I really like eating this 2 meal a day um, routine that I have during the week where I eat breakfast, which is generally oatmeal every morning. And then I have a variety of different things for dinner. Uh, but I don't ever worry about overeating. I don't worry that I am eating too much of the food. And just because I feel like it's so clean, I guess, in comparison to what I used to eat. There's nothing that I feel guilty eating in my diet. The only thing that I did feel guilty eating was the avocados, and we've since cut the avocados out because it wasn't helping me lose weight to have that as a regular part of my diet. Um, Uh, so yeah, I pretty sure I had toast last night. We had a different peanut butter than normally do, but it wasn't bad. It was just different. Uh, and it's interesting when I talk about different and just the variety of food that I eat now that I never ate before. I would always th- think of eating the way that I'm eating now of as being restrictive, and it's really the complete opposite is of restrictive um in some aspects. Like it's maybe you restrict, you're not eating any animal products, and I'm not eating any added salt, oil, or sugar, but in that by eliminating all those things, I don't have to restrict myself on volume. And that for me, I think has been a big key change in this diet over any diet I've done in the past. Um I've talked about it a couple times, and it's probably uh one of my most like I can't believe I did that moments in my history with weight loss. And it was in my mid 20s. I for some reason was watching a late night infomercial, and they were selling these diet pills, and there wasn't really any uh the the logic behind the pills essentially was that they were like the cotton balls, the pills that you would take, that like those sponges that you would get that would be flat and squished up, and you'd put them in water, and then slowly that they would soak up the water and they'd fill up and they'd get real big. That's essentially what these pills were saying that they would do. They didn't have any nutritional value in any way, um, other than just take the pill and the casing dissolves and it expands. And then by having that extra volume of undigestible product, I guess, in your stomach, you would eat less food. I imagine that, that's kind of uh probably not how they sold it, but that's what it was. And I remember ordering it and getting it and thinking, that maybe that's the problem, and I did took it one time and I just felt weird about the whole process. And now thinking about it, it makes me think of there was a show on TV, like these weird addiction things where people were eating weird things, and there was a lady that was eating couch cushion, and me taking that pill and it like what it probably did made me think of, probably wasn't much different than the material that a couch cushion's made of, that was inside that pill. But I was, desperate to try anything. Um, and Like I said, even back 15 years ago when I was trying to get something figured out, I knew that getting a full stomach was part of what I needed to do to be satisfied. And now, fast forward those 15 years, and the diet that I'm eating is allowing me to fill up my stomach like I always want to do. Like, that's really probably the, um, I don't know, like, it's just weird to think about, I guess, but, like, having a full stomach, being having that type of satisfying feeling of a full stomach has been something that I have had as a constant throughout my life, like, I always have a full stomach. If I didn't always have a full stomach, I wouldn't have been able to get up to 520 pounds, and now I'm trying to find a way to continue to have that full stomach and not be 520, and it seems to be working pretty well so far. And Anyways, this was just a long rant about me just justifying overeating at night, but I probably could cut back and have only had one serving and not had so much toast. But as long as the scale's going in the right direction, I can't really complain about it too much, like it's the win's a win, I guess, in some ways. And So yeah, that was last night. We had that. Probably had some cashews. Pretty sure I drank a lot of cherry juice last night. I don't know. Um, I just was thirsty, I guess. But I ate like I drank at least half a bottle of cherry juice last night. Um, and the fact that I don't have another bottle in the cupboard makes me think I drank even more than I thought. So I must have gotten drunk on the cherry juice a little bit last night. Uh, I really like it. And I feel like it does help with the inflammation, and something that just never had just one of those things again, the non-restrictiveness of this diet, the things I've added, the foods that I eat now, or the things I've tried. Um, it's been crazy, and some of the like being able to do some of this stuff for ourselves too. We've been having a harder time finding our soy milk. So Carrie's gonna try to make soy milk. Um, and There was something. Oh, the butter. Yeah, we had. Oh, you know what? I was gonna show that during the thing. Carrie was experimenting with making our own butter today because the butter that we had been getting for the kids uh isn't always available and it's not really cheap. And so she made a cauliflower based butter today that some of our kids tried. She said that they enjoyed it. And uh, it's really nice that, instead of having oil, butter that's based out of like an oil of some sort, uh, it's a vegetable based butter that our kids will be able to enjoy or to have, and just kind of makes is that book I just finished reading has got me all you know the salt sugar fat talks a lot about these companies and their advertising and their marketing and the things they do to get you to buy their items. And I was watching uh another streamer, and he was complaining about pea protein, and that he had bought this pea protein and it was just the protein was supposed to be all that was in there, and then you look at the nutrition label and there's a bunch of sodium in it, and it's kind of like, well, how is there so much sodium? And they're like, well, it's because of the way we process the pea protein that we have to use sodium to process it. So it's there is sodium, but it's part of the manufacturing process, so they don't put that on the they just list the ingredient of one item, and that's the pea protein. Um, and so there's kind of like ways around things that even companies that are not necessarily um nefarious in their advertising, but they still make concessions, like probably the craziest thing that he talks about in that book is the number of times that there was a company that said, all right, here's our line in the sand. We are not going to allow any processed items in this in this thing, whatever it is. And so they do everything they can to provide the best product without going over that line, without using, certain chemicals or going over a certain threshold for sodium or sugar amounts. And everything goes great until one day they get a letter or they open up the paper and they see that their competitor is doing what they've decided they wouldn't do, and they're getting favorable results from those changes. Company A says we're not going to put over 10 grams of sugar in our product. And then company B says, well, we're going to put 12 grams in. And then the customers go, well, this one tastes a little bit better. So I'm going to go to this company that's putting more sugar in it. Now, company A is sitting there going, we either have to let this product die and let company B win, or we can come out with the 13-gram sugar drink and we'll just move it. We'll say, you know what? We won't go over 14 now. So then they move their bar so that they can get that customer base in because they want the sales. And um, it happens a lot all over the place where companies may have great intentions, but uh, they also have to do anything to kind of get, uh, what they call, that your stomach share. They got to get you to buy their food. Uh, so there's somebody paying for marketing, advertising, then somebody has to get paid to design the labels, and it's not anything that on the surface was ever supposed to be detrimental to our health or our community or society. But over time, as that bar continues to get pushed and people continue to be willing to do what the other guy was unwilling to do, um, that at a certain point the consumers are get injured for the sake of the company's bottom lines. And so by being able to get away from that system as much as we can, it improves our quality of life. I feel like, if we're able to be a little bit more independent and figure out how to do things on our own a little bit more, that is probably a good thing, especially nowadays. And it's become more apparent for me over time that we give up so much for convenience, and our health is no difference. Um, I had a professor in college that had an interesting kind of angle that it wasn't about nutrition at all, but it can be kind of um, geared towards nutrition, or it can be used in that same sense. And essentially what it was, what it was in regard to traffic death and people dying on the road. And he said that he had a solution that would eliminate nearly all traffic deaths, and it would cause the injuries and all of the issues from the that we have because of people getting in accidents in cars. All of those can be removed. All we have to do is we have to mandate that all cars are completely made out of uh stainless steel or tank shells, and we make the max speed 15 miles an hour on the road. If we do those things, then we will eliminate all of the traffic deaths. But by doing those things, we give up so many and because we want those conveniences now, it's almost scary. And I didn't, you don't really feel it until you get on the interstate on a motorcycle. But we're driving these combustion engine powered missiles down the highway at speed that, really at breakneck speeds. If you get into an accident at 60, you're gonna have an issue. You're not gonna walk away from that without some sort of uh, injury or effect on your body. And so we give up that safety for the convenience of being able to get from point A to point B. And diet isn't really that different. I can sit here and I can say that there is a diet out there that if you want to eat it, it will reduce your chance of dying from heart disease, reduce your chances of suffering from strokes, reduces the incidence of diabetes. It reduces all of the leading causes and killers of people today. And that diet is to eat a whole food, plant based, salt, oil, sugar free diet. And if everybody ate that diet, heart disease would be nearly eradicated. But people are unwilling to eat that diet because they need the convenience, because they want the speed of being able to drive through a drive through and to get 1,500 calories handed to them in a sack, and they can go and they can eat it and they can have it done within 10 minutes. It is not how we were designed to live. We weren't designed to have that many calories flood into our bodies in one sitting, or one um in that small of a package these foods come in. And so what we have to do is we have to start realizing that we're driving down the highway of life at 90 miles an hour with the diet that we're eating, and that if we want to stay alive, we need to slow down and we need to change the vehicle that we're in, the diet that we're eating, and we have to change the attitude we have towards the effort that we need to put into consuming or acquiring our food. And so that is truly something that everybody uh, needs to look at and see where how the foods that are bad in their diet, the foods that they can sit there and go, man, that is what I need to get rid of. Why is it still in your diet? Why are you allowing it into your diet still? And is it the convenience of having those tortilla chips that are already ready made in the package just off the shelf at the store, when you could make your own tortillas, honestly. Or Carrie has found some tortillas that don't have any salt in them, that she makes them into our own chips. We have to process them a little bit ourselves. It's not just letting somebody else have control over the amount of salt, oil, and sugar that's in our food because they're going to put more in it than you would put in yourself. If you were making food for yourself, you would say, "Hey, I'm going to hold off on that extra scoop of sugar because I am concerned about how many calories that this dish already is." Whereas somebody who's making it for you is going to say, "Hey, I'm going to put an extra scoop of sugar or fat or whatever in this dish so that they enjoy it more so they come back and buy from me again or they tell me that they enjoyed what I made for them because nobody likes to make food for other people and have them go, it was okay, when other people are making your food, they're going to overdo it. Gary says to get the masa flour and water, it's magical how quickly you can just make up tortilla shells or chips with just those things. Yes. And uh instead of doing that, we go and we let Tostitos chemically engineer the perfect chip to be the most craveable, to have the best crunch, to have the most covering of sodium and just like and so you choose that convenience, but then you get all of the other crap that comes with that when if you would just slow down, make some things on your own, then and that's really kind of the cool thing too is as we've gotten closer to this diet and we buy these items that are closer to our diet, we realize that there isn't anything keeping us from figuring out how to do some of these things on our own. One of the examples I guess I would have is that there's uh a couple on YouTube that they sell salt, oil, sugar free products. It's called Well Your World. And they have ketchups and seasonings and other things that are salt, oil, sugar free. And it's really cool that they have those products and that they sell them. But and we've purchased some of those products, but then once we kind of got them home and you look at the ingredients labels and you're like, well, I could figure out because there's nothing that's really one of the nice things about this diet is that it's very tough to make anything proprietary or to make anything unique or to have any special ingredients, because the ingredients aren't processed in any way. We're not ripping out the fiber from the rice to make white rice or, we're not doing things that are difficult that require crazy machines to do. I mean, we do have a pretty fancy blender that allows us to make things like the soy milk or the like a lot of the dips, like the queso dip that Carrie made. Uh, you know, we have that equipment to make that, but it doesn't require industrial equipment. It doesn't require anything really that crazy. And so um, it's just nice to have that control over our diet that we had given up, and we so easily gave it up with without any regard. Like I don't know. It's so hard because I think about food so much different now, so it's really hard for me to go back and so yeah. Carrie says even the queso from Costco, we had all of the ingredients on the ingredients list right in our kitchen. Like so, it wasn't like there was high fructose corn syrup or something dextrose or olestrus or something. I've seen all kinds of crazy chemicals in these foods that these companies are making. Um, and we when we're eating this way, we're finding ways to make these recipes. So it's really been it's been awesome. Wow, I ended up going a lot longer on that than I expected. It is Friday. I hope you guys are excited for the weekend. I hope you have something fun lined up to do this weekend. We don't have anything going on, which is actually fun and exciting for me because it seems like we've had something going on every weekend. And I actually do have a meeting tomorrow that's going to fill up my day, but we don't have any big family things. Oh, we do. Oh no, I forgot. We do have a birthday party this weekend. See, um, it should be interesting having a birthday party this weekend. We are, um, we're gonna see how good our kids are and how much they, uh, how they'll do with going to a party that's going to be not thrown by us or not hosted by us. So there's not really going to be any vegan options for the kids. So we're going to have to uh, work out, maybe bringing something for our kids or figure out something for them. I think there'll be some vegan things, but I don't think that the bulk of what's going to be enjoyed by the people there is going to be. So um, that is going to be a challenge for us to work out, but we'll figure it out. It's something that it's not going to be the last time, and it's really something that everybody deals with when they're first starting with diets is having to go to events where the food um isn't suitable for what you're doing. And so the difficult part with this for us is that it's for our kids. I can look at it and say, yeah, no problem. I don't care. I'd rather be skinny than have have that piece of cake or that ice cream. Um, our kids don't care about that. Our kids just want the cake and ice cream. So we're gonna have to probably bring an alternate dessert for them. I actually talked to the party host, and they're okay if we bring our kids or cupcakes for our kids. And it's just something we have to, and that's just have to deal with it. It's like it sucks that it's there, and that's one of the obstacles that we have to manage to eat this way or to live this way. But uh the benefits I feel like far outweigh consequences or the momentary pleasures that we get. Those things, I mean, it's cool, and there's other alternatives. I guess that's the thing, is that if we can create an alternative and we can have that available, then why not, right? Why uh why just succumb because it's easier and give into the convenience when you, you know I'm sick of driving on the highway without a seatbelt on. Let's throw another analogy out there, right? Just like the we just gave up so much. I mean, and really just so frustrating how much I probably gave up on the back end. Like no matter how much I do to repair things over the next 30 years, what did I screw up because of the last? And yeah, so that's fun. Let me get out of here, guys. Well, I guess I don't know. I didn't even talk about the Feel Good Friday. I guess I was just going to talk about with the Feel Good Friday. I've been feeling really good the past couple weeks, and I feel like it has been because I have been taking my vitamin D regularly. I made it part of my daily regimen to get vitamin D in, and over the past month or 2 months, it's been almost an everyday thing or multiple times a week. And I really feel like it affects my mood. I don't know if there's really much evidence. I feel like they talk about having vitamin D or getting out in the sun helps reduce seasonal depression. Um, and Yeah, so I mean, if you can get out in the sun, that's great. We're kind of in a climate where it's really cold right now, so having supplementation, I feel like has been beneficial. And so if you guys haven't been taking a vitamin D or getting out into the sun for a half hour a day, definitely look into it. I think that we'll see a benefit too, like I did. Um, yeah, we got weekend ahead when I am cranky. John just hands me the vial of vitamin D. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Take this. Check back with me tomorrow. There we go. All right, guys. I am gonna get out of here this time though. I appreciate everybody following along with everything so far. I'm really happy about where I'm at right now. If I can keep myself from overeating this weekend, maybe I can get a kick ass weight loss for next week, because we're going to get to the end of February before you know it. And I'm not going to be down the 10 pounds I need to be down. So I need to get down, get down. Anyways, I'm out of here. Uh, you guys all have a great weekend. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up this weekend, nothing going on this weekend. It's more important than your health and your wellness. You're more important than some party, some whatever you have, get together, event. Your health and your wellness is more important. Nobody gets to the end and says, I wish I would have waited. Everybody wishes they would have started sooner, me included. He's right here. I wish I would have started sooner. And go all in, guys. Don't fall for the myth of moderate change. If you have tried for years and years and years to change one thing, and what if I add this, add that, and it's not succeeding, it's because it's really tough to do. It's hard to sit there and eat a healthy meal, one meal, and then have junk food the next. And then for that third meal to go, you know what? I'm going to go back to the healthy meal. It doesn't work for so many people. And even when you're on a diet for months and months and months and you have that junk food the one time, it makes it tough to go back. And so you have to make a drastic change if you want to see drastic changes in your physical being. Don't fall for the myth of moderate consumption. You're not going to all of a sudden become this magical creature that just decides it only wants to eat a potato a day. If you are like me and you love to have a full stomach, then you need to change the density of the food that you're eating. You need to go from this super high calorie, low dense foods that you've been eating. You need to switch to high volume, low calorie dense foods. Get your vegetables, your rices, all those things, guys. Got to change lots of things you want to see. I'm out of here. Get subscribed to the channel. Click on the bell icon. Join me on Monday when I come back. See you guys later.